Eternal Monsoon, Part 1. The Beginning. The town of Malvan sat quietly on the western coast of India, where the monsoons came like clockwork every year, drenching the earth until even the soil smelled alive. The sea roared against the rocks, coconut trees bent under the wind, and everything seemed to carry the rhythm of rain. In this little town, two children grew up as neighbors, Ayaan and Leela. Ayaan was mischievous, always barefoot, always teasing dragonflies or scribbling in a warm notebook he carried everywhere. One day, he would declare, puffing his chest out, "I'll be a writer and everyone will read my stories." Leela would laugh, tucking a strand of wet hair behind her ear. She loved colors, while Ayaan filled a notebook with messy words. She filled pages with sketches. Boats rocking on the waves, women carrying basket of fish, and the banyan tree under which they often sat. Rain was their season. They did sit on the veranda, thunder rumbling, and talk for hours. Ayaan would read her his stories. Leela would show him her sketches. Somewhere between those monsoons, between those stolen afternoons, friendship softened into something more, but they were young, too young to name it. Part 2. Teenage Promise. By the time they were 17, it was impossible not to notice the way they lingered near each other. When Ayaan walked Leela home after school, his heart raced. When their hands brushed, when Leela laughed at her silly joke, he thought the world had no sound more beautiful. On her 17th birthday, he gave her a small seashell he had found at the beach. Inside, folded neatly, was a scrap of paper with messy handwriting. "One day, I will write a book just for you, and in its first line it will say, 'For Leela, who was always my beginning.'" She read it, cheeks warm, and tucked the shell into her box of treasure. That evening, under the banyan tree, she whispered, "Promise me, Ayaan, no matter where you go, you won't forget me." He looked at her, his voice steady. Despite his pounding heart, "Leela, I couldn't forget you if I tried." It was the closest they ever came to confessing their love. Part 3. The First Distance. Life, however, doesn't wait for promise. Ayaan's father fell ill and the family struggled. He won a scholarship to study literature in Mumbai, an opportunity too big to refuse. He left one monsoon morning, his notebook clutched in one hand, the memory of Leela's teary smile in the other. Letters began at first, long, detailed one. Ayaan describing city street, professors, he struggled to fit in. Leela replied with sketches of the sea, of monsoon skies, of her shouldering the seashell. But letters grew fewer, phone calls became shorter. Ayaan was shadowed by the city, deadlines, and the future reality of chasing dreams. The Leela waited by the post box, but weeks turned into months. One evening, standing by the banyan tree, she realized her hands were empty. He hadn't returned in 3 months. She clutched the seashell that night and whispered into the wind, "You promised, Ayaan." Part 4. Leela's Silence. Leela's family, worried about her future, arranged her engagement to Rohan, a kind but practical man from a nearby town. He ran a business, promised stability, and adored her paintings. She didn't object. She didn't say yes either. She drifted through preparations as if in a dream. Inside, she painted more furiously than ever. Canvases filled the room. Storms, crashing waves, faces half remembered, but always somewhere hidden in the stove was Ayaan. On the night before her engagement, she opened the seashell. Reads his note again and cried. Part 5. Ayaan's Struggle. In Mumbai, Ayaan was fighting battles on his own. His short stories were rejected again and again. Editors told him he was too sentimental, too rural, too unpolished. But every rejection made him think of Leela, of the promise of the book he swore he would write for her. One rainy night, sitting by a window in his tiny rented room, he began a novel. Its heroine was a girl who painted the sea. Its hero was a boy who loved but couldn't forget. He poured everything into it, his regret, his longing, his love. But when he finally tried to send it to her, he couldn't find the courage. What if she had moved on? What if she no longer cared? And so he stayed silent. Part 6. The Lost Years. 10 years passed. Leela never married Rohan. At the last moment, she called it off. Unable to lie to herself, she became an art teacher, guiding children, filling her tree with colors and her nights with memories. Her parents were disappointed, but she found great strength in her choice. Ayaan, after years of struggle, finally found success. His third book was a breakout hit. Suddenly, he was invited to festivals, interviewed, praised, but in every crowded room, he felt a hollow space beside him. In every dedication page, in every story, there was always a ghost. Leela. Part 7. Reunion. It was Monsoon again when Ayaan returned to Melbourne for a book launch. The sea roared the same. The banyan tree still stood. He wandered through town, notebook in hand, heart heavy with memories. And then, in the gallery near the beach, he saw it, a painting. Rain falling on two figures under a banyan tree. His heart stopped. "Do you like it?" a soft voice asked. He turned. Leela, older, more graceful, but still her, still his beginning. For a long moment, neither moved. The air was thick with everything unsaid. Finally, he whispered, Leela. Her eyes listened. You came back? Part 8. The Truth. They walked for hours that night through old lane under the same monsoon sky. He told her about the struggles, the rejections, the night he wrote about her. She told him about the broken engagement, the painting, the waiting, everything. At the banyan tree, he finally confessed, voice breaking. I was a coward. I thought silence would protect you, but Leela, I have loved you all my life. Every word I have written was for you. Tears streamed down her face. Then why didn't you come back sooner, Ayaan? I waited. He held her hand gently. I'm here now. Part 9. Eternal Monsoon. Weeks later, under pouring rain, their town witnessed a wedding unlike any other. Not grand, not lavish, just raw, simple, filled with love. Leela painted the backdrop herself. A banyan tree, a stone, and two figures holding hands. Ayaan wrote the words, for Leela, who was always my beginning and who will be my forever. As thunder rolled and the monsoon embraced the town, they sealed their promise with a kiss. The seashell lay on the altar, its note still inside, now finally fulfilled. Moral of the story. True love may bend, it may break under time and silence. But if it's real, it waits like the monsoon, inevitable and eternal.